Friends, thanks for coming back. Let's talk about how challenging it is to work from home, steps away from the kitchen, and constantly wanting to go in and munch on something, and then not being able to go to the gym. These are some pretty challenging times. I have 3 tips for staying healthy in a quarantine. I don't know about you, but when we started having to stay home and when the gyms first closed, I thought easy peasy. I've got some bands, I've got some light weights. It's gonna be easy to work out from home. And then as the weeks turned into a month, turning into maybe even more time, I'm finding that it's super challenging to motivate myself to get up and work out because I crave the interaction of the gym. I love being around my peers and motivating each other. And now I have to be the one to motivate myself. And it's really different, I guess, is the best way to describe it. We're living in a different world. So getting up in the morning, I've really kind of thought about how can I make this work for me? How can I motivate myself to stay on track? And I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the very first thing I do is, of course, have my coffee, and I run for 3 miles. Now, maybe you don't like to run. You could do a bike ride, you could do a walk. I have a neighbor that I love to walk with. Of course, we're social distancing as we walk, but just getting outside and getting some fresh air always clears my mind and helps me to start the day in a positive way. And then I find a band workout that I like to do. Typically I write my own, but you may wish to look through some of the Busigirl workouts and see if there's some band workouts you like. But maybe your gym is putting some great videos online. Maybe there's some trainers that you've worked with in the past that are giving you tips, and YouTube is filled with amazing workout from home videos. Find one that you love. Find someone that motivates you and utilize them and do those workouts. So my first tip is accountability. Be accountable to yourself. I love checklists. So I start my day with a checklist. And this might be a really nice time if you haven't been working out. I hear from a lot of people, I'm at home, I'm eating too much, I'm gaining weight, I'm scared to put on my jeans, they might not fit. This is a great time if times have changed and you're now allowed to work from home when before maybe you weren't. Fit that workout into your routine. You were probably getting up at 6 o'clock to get ready for work before. Now get up at 6 o'clock and go outside and take a hike, take a quick run. I usually do that for 30 minutes. I do my 30-minute band workout, get ready, and I'm still at work at 8 o'clock in the morning. The other part of being accountable is watching your food. What are you eating? I like to do MyFitnessPal, and so it's super important that you're watching your exercises and you're eating healthy. And so being accountable to yourself means you're tracking and logging your food and not overeating, which is super easy to do. You know, when I'm working from home, it's really easy to sneak from my office to my kitchen and eat anything. But by holding myself accountable, if I put it into MyFitnessPal, I kind of know where I'm at and how much I have left to go before the end of the day. And a long time ago, I did Weight Watchers, and they said, count every BLT. Bite, lick, and taste. So you're making cookies for the kids and you maybe take a spoonful. That would be a bite. You would want to make sure that you log that because you can easily do a lot of BLTs through the day and have calories that you're not counting. So it's really important every time you take a bite of something, every meal, every snack, that you're logging that, especially during this time that we're stuck at home. And well, let's face it, eating and watching TV are really the two easiest things to do. And so it's easy for your food calories to get away from you if you're not holding yourself accountable, logging them into MyFitnessPal, and monitoring what you're eating, and saying, okay, Michelle, enough is enough. You've hit your calories for the day. Go drink some water. So, coming into hot tip number 2, which is keep your routine, I'm finding before we were ordered to stay home, I was always on the go. Work, I would do after work things, happy hours with my friends, going out to dinner with my family, just constantly being out and about. And we didn't spend a whole lot of time at home. Now it's so easy being at home to flip on the TV. I've probably binged on 5 or 6 Netflix series. That's more TV than I've watched in my entire life combined in this last month. And that's easy to do. But keeping your routine is super, super important. So this, like I said earlier, could be a great way for you to start a new routine or to keep your old routine. Working out in the morning works for me, and that's how I've always worked out. And so I've noticed that as we're transferring into some new times, it's really, really important to keep those same routines and to do the things that we've always done, and holding the same time. So going to bed at, well, for me it's 9 o'clock, but for you, whatever time you normally go to bed, keep those bedtimes. Set your alarm and get up the same time you've always gotten up. Still make out your meal plans and prep your meals before the day starts. If you measure and pre-package things, label it for the day and say, this is what I can have to eat for the day, and put that aside in your refrigerator, just like you've always done. So just because you're at home, it doesn't give you a free-for-all to go to the kitchen and open the cupboard and eat a bunch of popcorn and watch a bunch of Netflix. And so it's really important, like the second key is to keep your routine, and act as though you're getting up and going to work and doing everything that you've always done. It just might look a little bit different. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is eating. And I, like you, love to eat. And somebody talked to me about this style of eating a while back, and I thought, oh my gosh, I am never gonna be able to do that. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I wanna eat. So about a year ago, I was working with a trainer, and he introduced me to intermittent fasting. That's hot tip number 3. Intermittent fasting is not a diet, it's just a lifestyle change. So personally, I stop eating at 7 o'clock at night, and I do not eat again until 11 o'clock in the morning, which is 16 hours. So I fast for 16 hours, and I only eat during an 8-hour period in the day. Initially, I thought there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this. I love food way too much. I want to tell you that since doing this intermittent fasting, I have felt fabulous. I used to get pretty bloated, and my stomach would make a lot of grumbling kind of noises, and I had a lot of stomach aches. And since I started doing this fasting, that has all pretty much went away. I don't have any more stomach issues, and I actually feel really good. So how do I not eat until 11 o'clock in the morning? Because that was I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty challenging. Coffee is my best friend in the whole world, and I usually have 2 or 3 cups of coffee in the morning. They say a coffee doesn't break the fast as long as you put nothing in it. That in itself was difficult to get used to because I do like some creamer, but I don't drink creamer anymore. And so coffee and a lot of water. And then by 11 o'clock, I actually have to say to myself, Michelle, it's time to eat. And so during my window, that's when I eat all of the calories that I set up for myself in my MyFitnessPal. And so I'm just gonna share what I typically eat during a day. You will figure out what works best for you based on how many calories you feel like you should eat. But I really like protein shakes, and so I just blend a good protein powder. I like chocolate with some PB2 and some coconut milk, either some frozen bananas or some ice to make it a little creamier, more like a malt, if you will. I like egg bites, and so I eat a lot of, well, not a lot, but I eat egg bites. Every day for lunch, I have a Busigirl salad, some variation of that. And for dinner, I like to eat what my family eats, but they might eat potatoes or carbs, and I'll just eat a salad or some vegetables instead. But I usually eat the same meat as my family. The other night we had kebabs. They were amazing. So we took fresh peppers, onions, a fresh pineapple and some chicken. We sprayed it with some Pam, put them on kebab sticks and grilled them with some teriyaki. It was a seasoning. I don't use a lot of sauces, so I use a lot of seasonings. And I ate that with some quinoa, and it was an excellent summer dinner. So 7 o'clock at night comes, and I know that my intake has to be done. I like to, right after dinner, have like a high protein shake because I want to have that protein to get me through the night. I did forget to mention, I also like apple and peanut butter as one of my snacks during the day. Okay, so after 7 o'clock, you might feel that you're hungry, and chances are you're probably not hungry. But what do you do if you start to feel like you're hungry? Some of my favorite things to do after 7 o'clock and before I go to bed is have a cup of tea. I drink a lot of tea. My favorite is a mint tea. It's just really smoothing. It helps me get relaxed before I'm ready to go to bed, and it makes me feel like I'm not hungry anymore. Another thing I really like to do is I like water I put it in a water bottle, and I would add some fresh mint and some fresh mint leaves and maybe a frozen pineapple chunk, or maybe I would do basil, fresh basil leaves, and a cucumber, fresh cucumber chunk in there to make the water naturally flavored. And I would just drink a lot of water. And then I promise, after a couple of days, you get up in the morning and you feel great. I don't really know the science behind intermittent fasting. I could have researched it. I just had a trainer tell me that it was a great thing to do, and from what I believe, it helps heal your gut, and it helps with the lining of your gut or your stomach, which helps you digest food better moving forward. So I highly recommend, if you feel like you can, or if you've talked to your doctor and your doctor feels like it's a good thing for you, during this time, try the intermittent fasting. So I have a favor to ask of you. If you have some friends that you think could benefit from these videos, I would love for you to share with them. Let's increase our tribe and be there for each other. That's what this is all about, holding each other accountable and helping women be successful. I love when I can get on my Instagram or my Facebook and I see other women who are crushing it. I'm over here cheering for them because they're doing every day what we so aspire to do, and they look the way that we so aspire to look. And so Ladies, let's build each other up and do this together. I have had so much fun working out with you, sharing some of my favorite recipes, and just talking with you. If you know anybody that's brand new to working out, or maybe that's you, Busigirlfitness might be the place for you. I have a lot of at-home workouts, and as you grow and the gym opens back up, there's quite a few gym workouts on there too. Some recipes, some of my favorite things, even my very favorite Moscow Mule, and just some tips like today. Thanks so much for coming, Busy Girls. I'll see you next time.